Hi everyone, we all have those mornings, days, weeks, months, sometimes years where we feel completely and utterly drained to the core. I just feel tired emotionally, physically, and on those days you need that makeup to make you look like you're more present and awake, even if you're not. So I thought I would do that makeup look today. These are the makeup products that I gravitate towards when I just want my skin and myself to look more alive. If you're new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I upload new content on YouTube every single week. I must admit it has been a little bit sporadic recently because of the building works and the fact that we are living upside down at the moment. Everything is covered in dust, but hopefully we will be back to better than normal in the next few weeks' time. We've just got to deal with all this. In the meantime, the amount of times I have sneezed trying to get this intro out, I have lost count, and I thought I'd better edit them out because did you see Charlotte Holcroft's video the other day? Charlotte is amazing. The story she told was disturbing. I will link her video in the description box for anybody that wants to check it out, but I did not want to become part of the collage of sneeze videos that are circulating on the internet. I know. Anyway, let's crack on. So first of all, I am going to cover over my imperfections using the NARS Soft Matte Concealer in the shade Vanilla. There are plenty of imperfections on my face at the moment, and although the lighting is not perfect in this room, you can see every single one of them. They are clear in my monitor. Not liking that so much, but we are going to cover these over, and I made the mistake of, I have no idea how I did it, but for some reason I didn't put my SPF on as soon as I woke up in the morning, and I took Ralph out for a walk without it on. This never happens to me. You know how much of a stickler I am for my SPF, and literally it took that one time and my melasma has come back on my forehead. Gutted. It took me such a long time to get rid of it, and that one time without sun protection, back with a vengeance. Anyway, right, we are going to move on to my brows because I tend to do my brows before anything else at the moment, and I'm not quite sure why. I just find it easier that way. So taking the Schwarzkopf Got to Be Brows and Edges, running that from back to front first, and then brushing them up in the direction that I want them. That way, so much faster, gets the product in the brows, and then allows me to style them however I want. My brow hairs are falling out as well. I've got a bald patch here, and I found some of my eyelashes had fallen out as well the other day. I always feel like I deal with stress quite well. I'm quite relaxed about it, but it shows in my body, not really how I act, but it definitely, my body is telling me at the moment that I might be just a little bit stressed. It's rebelling. So once I got my brows where I want them, I'm just going to outline, especially the underneath portion, with my NYX Microbrow pencil in the shade Ash Brown. I've gone back to this pencil. I find it so easy to just do a little bit of a guide of where my NYX Lift and Snatch pen is going to go, and that way you just know, and then you don't make any mistakes, and also it's a bit quicker. So just the outline underneath the brow. Also, if you make a little bit of a mistake with this, it's so easy to just blend off, whereas the NYX Lift and Snatch is slightly more problematic if you make a mistake. So easier to do it this way, and I do love this pencil. So that's where I leave that, and then I pick up my NYX Lift and Snatch in the same shade Ash Brown, and I don't start right from the beginning of my brow. I start around about a quarter of the way up, where your brow naturally becomes slightly darker, because then if you've got a bit too much product on the pen, it doesn't make the front of your brow really, really dark, and that might look unnatural. So then just individual hairs. If you do get a little bit of a darker patch, just pop your finger on it and it will diffuse a little bit. And then once I've filled in the rest of the brow, I go back to that front section and just create those hairs right at the very beginning. And I don't want to fill it in too much because I still want it to look natural, so that's where I'm going to leave it. I do think that just by doing my brows, it gives my face more dimension, it gives my eyes a more lifted appearance, and with that more lifted appearance, my face looks more awake. So just by doing one area of my face, I already look 10 times better. Next product up, we've got the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick in the shade Light Medium. I've spoken about this so many times on my channel. I use this pretty much every day and there's hardly any gone. This is such a great product. It's incredibly easy to use, really beginner friendly, and I literally just pop that quite messily where I want it, underneath the cheekbones, little bit on the tip of my chin, across the forehead, and right underneath my jawline. We're going to do something with that. I am not going out like this. Do not worry. I've not gone nuts. Next product. I have been loving this recently, the IT Cosmetics CC+Nude Glow Foundation in the shade Fair Light. It is slightly too deep for my natural skin tone, not gonna lie, so if you are my shade twin, you may want to go and get colour match for this or bronze the neck, which is what I tend to do, and I actually really enjoy the look. This gives a subtle glow to the skin, which is incredibly youthful, very awakening, which is exactly what I need today. This is going on and I only use one pump and a tiny weeny bit extra. Very rarely will one pump do my entire face and also down my neck. If you're not going to do down your neck, then you probably can make do with one pump. But one pump and a tiny weeny bit usually does me fine. So I'm going to go in with my Refa 35 brush straight away and just do in between my brows and just around my brows. This is the problem with doing your brows first, but it doesn't stop me from doing my brows first. It's just a tiny bit more work, but it means you don't get any product in your brows. So then I go over all the areas where I don't have the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt. This is one of the only foundations I can actually apply underneath my eyes. So I think a lot of people would do a colour corrector and then concealer, or just concealer. Some people like to put foundation underneath their eyes. I am not one of those people. Usually if I put foundation underneath my eyes, it makes all the skin look really crinkly, my skin will look really dry underneath my eyes, and it will crease throughout the day. That does not happen with this foundation, so I was really, really impressed. Don't ask me why I decided to check that out, because usually I would just not bother and just apply concealer underneath my eyes, but something told me from within that this was going to be great underneath the eyes. It is incredibly hydrating, so if you do have dry skin like mine, you may want to give this one a go. It gives a medium coverage. It is buildable, but I would say it's buildable to medium coverage. I would say first coat, this is light coverage. You can build it up to light medium coverage. Anything more than medium coverage, if you're expecting that, you're going to be disappointed with this. It doesn't have as much coverage as the original CC from IT Cosmetics. So just like the original, you get 32 mils worth of product. It comes in 22 different shades, gives a natural glowy finish. It's not radiant like the illuminating one. It has an SPF of 40 in here, not 50 like the original. The SPF filters are homosalate at 8.3%, octosalate at 4.5%, and octocrylene at 5.6%. This does contain a fragrance, but it is alcohol-free, and it has some really nice soothing ingredients in there. Snail secretion filtrate, really moisturizing and hydrating. It's also got niacinamide and glycerin in the mix as well. So once I've filled in all the areas that don't have any contour product, with a little bit on my foundation brush, I'm just going to go over the contour and blend it. This is such a great product. This doesn't dry on the skin really quickly, so you've got plenty of time to work this in and make it look like skin. It looks incredibly natural once you've finished. I absolutely love this foundation. It has just the right amount of glow, which is incredibly girly and youthful and flattering. I do need that first layer of concealer to cover over my imperfections because the coverage of this would not do that on its own. But I love that my skin looks like skin. The skin just looks like my skin, only 10 times better, and that is exactly what I needed today. Just going to powder my eyelids in place so I can pop a little bit of either bronzer or eyeshadow in my crease to give my eyes a little bit more dimension and a more lifted look. I don't want an overly dramatic look today. I want something very natural that screams, I just woke up like this, which I so did not. Then with my Charlotte Tilbury, the Super Nudes Easy Eye Palette, I'm going to dip into this taupey shade. And all the way from the outer corner of my eye to the tip of my brow, just going to dust that product on really, really gently. Now you'll hardly be able to see this at all when the finished look is complete, but it will make a difference. It will really lift the corner of the eye, make your eyes look wider, more awake. And then I'm just going to take my finger and pad that in place to soften that off a little bit. Again, we don't want it to look overly dramatic. We just want it to create that lift. Then with a larger, fluffier brush, same shade, knock off the excess. Just going to feather that into the center, just slightly above the crease to blend that in. Then I'm going to take this dark brown shade, pop it on my Refa 29 brush and go from halfway across the eye, right on that upper lash line, and just dot that on, just to thicken that lash band off a little bit. And then I'm going to wing it out just on that outer corner. And you do not need to be precise with this because you can make it look a little smokier, so you can be as messy as you like. Look how brighter that eye looks already and how much more lifted it looks, and we haven't even put mascara on yet. I mean, so simple and yet effective. I need to cover over my under eye circles to get the full effect of the eye look, so I'm going to be using my Holy Grail Lancome All Over Concealer a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm going to take my finger and just warm that up a little bit and then pop that straight on. Not a lot of it needs to be used. I'm going to go into that inner corner and then just work that into the skin. And then to lift the eye even more, I'm going to take a really fair concealer. This is the Faux Filter Concealer from Huda Beauty in the shade 1.3G, which is Marshmallow. Again, taking a tiny bit on the back of my hand and then grabbing a really small brush, taking a little bit on that brush. This brush is the 204 from BK Beauty, and I'm just going to dab that on. As you can see, this is a lot fairer than my natural skin tone, but it will blend and it will create a lovely lifted effect. So you can see the lightness of the concealer has already sculpted that eye out a little bit. Then I'm going to take my finger and just blend that out so it doesn't look so harsh. Just look how much crisper, cleaner and more lifted that actually looks. You can create this look with a light coloured concealer, a light coloured pencil or a light coloured eyeshadow. Anything you like really, just, I just absolutely love it. I was given that tip by Painted by Spencer. I watched one of his either Instagram videos, TikTok videos, I'm not quite sure, but Painted by Spencer, definitely worth a follow. Back into my Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette, taking a little bit of that taupey shade, running that just on the outer corner of the lower lash line, just to blend everything together, make it more cohesive. I also think that if you add too much concealer underneath the eyes, it can look a little bit too heavy, a little bit crusty. By adding a slightly deeper shade to that lower lash line can just take the edge off that a little bit. And then if you use a little bit too much or you want a more muted look, just dab your finger underneath to soften that off a little bit. Just, oh, I just love this palette. Love, love, love. I'm gonna take a bit of powder just on my finger and start to press that underneath the eyes, using the warmth of my finger just to push that into the skin. I'm concentrating really on the area that would usually crease if I applied too much concealer. Just making sure that that area is completely set. Going to curl my lashes and then apply a couple of coats of my YSL Lash Clash. Mascara, this one is in the shade 2, which is brown. Spoken about it a lot on my channel. I'm not going to go into raptures about this again, but I love the shade. I just think it looks really, really soft and natural. It's not waterproof though, so the curl will drop slightly, but I don't think it drops massively, so that is a plus to this. If you want something slightly more dramatic, this is not going to be the one for you, although they do a black version in this, but again, that one's not waterproof either. I'm not going to go off-piste today and try something new. This is what I automatically gravitate towards. It is my holy grail lip liner, the Victoria Beckham Lip Definer in the shade 2. And then top it off with the Iconic London Lip Plumping Gloss in the shade Feeling It. I have seen the reviews of this. I really like this product, but the reviews are mixed. Some people say it's hideous. Some people say that the packaging is really cheap. I don't think it is. I think it's really nice, but some people's packaging is falling to pieces. I have never had a problem with that with Iconic London. I thought I'd better mention it because, I mean, I really like this product. I think it feels nice. It's got a mintiness to it, so if you don't like that, definitely this is not going to be for you. It feels tingling. Do I think it's plumping? Do I think that any lip gloss is actually plumping when it says it's plumping? No, probably not. It gives the illusion of plumpness because it's shiny, but I think this is really pleasant. Feels nice, it's not super thick or heavy or sticky, and I just think it's a really nice, pretty shade. And you know I like to finish off my looks with my blush because it just brings everything together. A lot of people do lips last. Just not for me. Blush is my thing. The one that I'm going to be using today is from Charlotte Tilbury and it's the Pillow Talk Matte Beauty Blush Wand. Again, spoken about this a lot on my channel. This one is in the shade Peach Pop. Yes, Peach Pop. But I also have Pillow Talk in it as well. I really love this product. I think it is stunning. However, it's not matte. It says it's matte, it's not matte. False advertising all the way. Just squeezing, oh, I've squeezed a lot. Squeezing a little bit, which is actually a lot, on the back of my hand. Be very careful with this if you've never tried it before and you want to give it a go. Punchy. Punchy on the pigment, so massively overdone this on the back of my hand and squeezed out way too much, which is such a waste. You can apply this directly to the cheek. I would recommend that if this is your first time using this product, apply it to the back of your hand because you may get yourself into a mess if you apply too much to the cheek and then it's slightly more challenging to blend out. Not that it is a difficult product to work with, it's just very, very pigmented. If you do happen to apply too much blush, story of my life. I mean, I do love blush, but overkill sometimes. Grab a little bit of translucent powder on a big fluffy brush and then just buff that over the blush and it'll just diffuse it. and also push it and melt it into the skin and make it look more skin-like. Gorgeous. Oh. So that's the finished look for today, and I've got to say, I think it's effective. I don't think I look like I woke up tired this morning. I think I look like I sprang out of bed, did 3 rounds of Pilates, went to the gym, lifted some weights, drank a wheatgrass smoothie. Oh no. Came home, just loving life. Let's crack on with the day. That's how I think this looks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Hope you've really enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.